Arise, minions, and batten down the hatches as we leave behind the safety of the Humblewood and sail down the Talmgrim coast to the blood-soaked waters of the Bay of Belush. Join us in this coastal trade port of the Serpent Domain as we begin to assemble our would-be pirate crew for this brand new D&D 5e podcast, Dark Fortunes.
Hi, I'm McLovin. I'm playing Auryn, the level 1 Servan Barbarian.
Hi, my name is Johnny. I'm the Dungeon Master. Welcome to the Dark Fortunes podcast. We fade into Auryn practicing on the floor of the arena. The arena that is the Razor Den is empty. Taking in the scene and the setting, looking around him, he can see that the bleachers are all empty and climbing higher, farther than he knows, heights that he doesn't understand. This has been his life for as far as he can remember. Looking around, you see dummies that have been placed at various points around the arena. The only other person there in the arena with you is your good friend and longtime companion, Milo. Milo is just sort of leaning back against the wall, just kind of lazily watching you and going from looking from you to the 2 or 3 individuals who are standing just off to the side to watch you train. One of them, a Corvin, keeps a mindful eye on you as he checks and looks at papers and signs things. But occasionally he looks up to check in to make sure that you are doing exactly what you're supposed to do. Next to him is a Maipak, attentive, whispering, always communicating with him and shuffling through papers and like receiving messages from messengers and sending them away. And then next to him is another Corvin who looks also attentive, but clearly has his own business, and he is watching you with great attention. He's got a little bit of a smile on his face. He's actually enjoying this. But the moment that the first Corvin perks up and says something, that Corvin, that second, is actually attentive and listening and paying attention, ready to do whatever task he's being asked to do. How do we find Auryn in this situation?
Auryn, kind of describe him a little bit. He's about 7'2". It's hard to gauge with his antlers. He's very much a red stag. He basically he has only brown shorts with brown suspenders, and he has very reddish fur that goes way down all over his body. And he very much has a lot of fur. It kind of comes out like a beard, where his up his neck and around his lower chin and into his chest. And he's just sitting there swinging his axe, doing random charge drills, finding I imagine what they do is they put different weight sets out there, and he goes and practices them pushing a boulder or anything like that, and he doesn't really pay them any mind. He'll see them, but he just keeps doing his training because that's all he wants to focus on.
Watching you from up above, the second Corvin, with much interest, takes in everything that you're doing. With each swing of your axe, with each exertion of your muscles, he's observing you. He's paying attention to you. He's moving in such a way that indicates that he is taking in every detail of you, almost as if at some point he conceives of the idea of him facing you somewhere in life. It unsettles you, but you've seen this look before. You've seen the same look when other gladiators are paraded in front of you, giving them an opportunity for them to study you in the hopes that they might actually be your doom, your defeat. But you are Auryn. You are the city's champion. You are the people's champion. And you recognize this very clearly, and you don't think much of it. Milo, on the other hand, begins to take even more interest in what's going on. And he kind of whispers and he says, Hey, Auryn, are you seeing this? Are you seeing the way that they're watching? That courtroom's watching you? I mean, this is a little unusual, right?
Not any different than any other fighter. Sizing me up. He may be my next opponent. I don't know.
He's too smart to be a gladiator. No offense. There's something really off about him. I'm not really sure what's going on, but I get the impression that it's not just like he's going to be your next opponent. It's as if he's planning. I don't know. It's weird. I'm probably just, I need to eat. And he immediately begins to dig into his outfit, looking for a piece of stale bread that he can pop into his mouth. You should definitely slice through those dummies, and let's get back to the cage. We've got to rest up, buddy. You got a big day tomorrow. They keep talking about it. I keep hearing the orators yelling across the city. The barkers are just all going off. I mean, it sounds like they're really promoting your day tomorrow.
Just another day, just another fight.
All right, buddy. Well, okay. As Milo kind of backs off and lets you continue the fight, you see that a new runner has run up to the Mawpock, and with the news that he's bringing, you hear an exclamation, and for a moment, mid-swing during your axe, you realize something has changed, and you look up, and you see the Mawpock and the first Corvum, the one who is clearly the boss, kind of looking, at each other, discussing in whispered tones, and looking at you. And you see the third one individual, the second Corvum, kind of leaning in and kind of really just kind of twisting his head to get a better, sort of understanding of what they're actually saying. And a smile begins to crawl across his face. And he immediately sort of steps up and moves away, following the runner, talking to the runner excitedly. As the Mawpock and the first Corvum, continue to have their discussion, as a Vulpine begins to walk down towards them. You recognize this Vulpine. He is your mortal enemy in some ways. He is the person who picks the fighters to go against you. And he's leering at you as he begins his slow stride down towards the lip of the arena.
Auryn would just see him and just go, kind of snort. That was a terrible snort, but kind of huff to himself, and then just go chop the dummy in half, and then just start making his way back inside.
As you begin to collect whatever it is that you need to collect from, what do you do with the weapon?
I put it back on the rack within the doors, because I can't. Auryn can't bring it back to the cell with him. So
the doors open, leading out from the arena itself, the arena floor, into sort of the underground proper. That is the backstage, essentially, of the Razor Den. The doors open slowly, and there is a second set of doors 10 feet back from that, deeper into sort of the underground. And there are torches lit just beyond that second gate, and the light from outside. You can see that it's starting to change a little bit as the sun is beginning to kind of set, as you're stepping in. And there are weapons on both sides racked up. These weapon racks are actually on rollers, and they are there specifically for you to be able to grab for, or anybody else who is training. You see that there are 2 servant guards paying attention to you through the second door, sort of hole. There's like a peephole of some kind that they can look through. All right, Auryn, back up on the rack.
He just puts the weapon up on his rack and just starts making his way back. Not
all right,
paying
Auryn,
any mind.
Turn around. You know what this requires.
And turns around.
The doors in front of you leading out onto the arena floor close. Milo, you make sure he gives us a minute. The doors begin to slowly open. And you see that the 2 servants are holding spears, keeping a distance of 20 feet back from you. As the doors open on sort of like a guided sort of rail, allowing you inside to the underground of the Razor Den. Tell us a little bit about this place. What does it look like to you?
It's very much I like to think of it as like old Greek, not like the very classy Colosseums, but very much where it's like sandstone. Everything's fairly dusty. The halls are fairly big, just because of they get a lot of different sizes and different kinds of races that come in here. Auryn, pushes that as his like antlers sometimes like scrape the walls and there'd be random scratches on the ceiling of where that happened, and he has to like kind of maneuver a little bit when he's going through the doors and making his way back. And it's very much like within it, it's very much like kind of a smooth, like sandstone sort of tunnel. Like this place seems to be carved out from a boulder, and with the iron bars set on each side, blocking on the doors, and with the 2 slits, as it opens up, very heavy, like a heavy wood door. Something maybe around oak or mahogany or something like that, but not as expensive as mahogany, but just that heavy set, and very not really well kempt. They've aged over time. And he just makes his way back past the torches down a dark tunnel. And he doesn't really need to see because that's where he's been going for the past 9 years. And he goes and makes his way into his cell. That's very much it's really off its own. And it's pretty much like a carved out room that has big iron gates on the entrance of it at the end of this tunnel. And it's past where everyone enters. They have their own like little barracks off to probably the left side as he's walking towards the cell. And it's probably another 50 feet back into a thick, like inky blackness that he just kind of disappears into as he walks past that hallway. And it's probably the door is probably barricaded because they don't want him to enter there.
All right. As you're making your way back, Milo's, of course, walking along with you at first. But after a certain point, his little legs get really tired. And of course, he begins to kind of run up to you and just kind of jump and start to climb up your back. The relationship that you have with Milo is, one of companion and of sort of almost like it's very symbiotic symbiotic. He just finds his way up your back, and it's just a natural feeling for you to have him sort of climbing up your back and then climbing his way all the way up to your antlers as he finds a way to kind of perch. And as your head is kind of moving around left and right and up and down, dipping and not dealing with the, various, imperfections in the walls and the, in the ceiling, he also moves with you and he's constantly talking. Yeah, that was good today. You did great. It was interesting because the way that you sliced that, it was like, where did you come up with that downward motion? I mean, that's not like the time that you killed that fox, to save me, but like it came down with this downward motion, and it was just like this. You split it in half, but when you did, you split it in such a way that it was almost like theatrical. It was magnificent. It was like it was going to explode. Like his guts are just going to go everywhere. How'd you do that? What did you think of that?
Just seeing how they looked at me and just stirred in anger, and I just struck.
Yeah, you got to use that, buddy. I mean, tomorrow they keep talking about it's a big day. I don't know who they actually going to, have you go up against tomorrow. So I'm going to have to figure that out. But it's, it's really, it's really strange. And they got really excited at the end. I've got to go figure out what that's all about. They kept looking at you like you were a piece of meat. You're their best money maker. You keep making them all kinds of money. The only reason you're still alive is because they keep winning with you. I don't understand. It was really strange.
Yes, but I imagine at some point in time, a good show was watching the champion fall.
Nah, they wouldn't do that to you. That's what really? Hey, wait. All right. Well, I'm gonna have to. And he says he's looking towards the direction of one of the doors as he's about to say, I think I'm gonna need to go and check this out. When he looks down and his voice falters, catching you, and you realize and you take a step back because you had stepped past the door. And when you take a step back, you look down and you see that there is a new set of arrivals training in the underground area. Give me a perception roll and give me one for Milo as well.
Okay. Let's do me first. Rolling some dice. That would be, I rolled a 13 plus 3, 16. Milo, I don't have Milo up right now. Hold on. Milo's just going to be a straight wisdom roll. He got a 7. He rolled a 6 plus 1.
He's just distracted as he's kind of looking, as you step back, he's kind of looking and distracted. And he keeps, there's a new Vulpine, and there's a Mopok in there. I haven't seen a Mopok in a long time. I see a raptor, and there's some other furry thing like down there. I don't know. And he just keeps talking, and he keeps going on and on and on. And as your eyes begin to kind of focus on what he's looking at, you take in sort of the setting, and you can see that there are a number of new sort of members of the folk that have been are being brought in, and they're being chained, and their bindings are being put on them. They're being restrained and controlled. And just as you're ready to sort of dismiss, this is just another pack of fresh meat that you're going to have to face at some point. You get a smell of something. It's sort of rotten. It reeks of sweat and fur. And it sends your senses on edge for just a second. And then another door opens from someplace else, letting in a draft, and the smell just sort of washes away. And you're back realizing that the fresh meat is just sort of standing there, taking whatever it is that the handlers are giving to them and managing them. You move on down towards your cell. The 2 serving guards, never getting closer than 20 feet, spears out the entire time, follow you towards your cell. And once you are firmly seated back there in your sort of the back of like your cell area, they close the door and lock it, and then close another lock, make sure that it's secure, take a step 10 feet back, close the next set of doors, lock it, apply a second lock, and then they light one torch, giving you dim illumination in your living area. isolated and alone, cold except for the blanket and the companionship of Milo. Tell us about yourself.
As I described before, Auryn at this point would throw the blanket to Milo, and I imagine Milo would take a rock that he finds and cast light on it, and light up the room and kind of lighting up everything. And this is where you get to really kind of see Auryn's facial expression as she sits down against a wall with his knees up and his hands over his knees, as him and Milo done this countless times, talking and having conversations, mainly just coming up with strategies and that kind of stuff, or what Milo sometimes gives him some points and tips, or trying to help him be a better performer, not so much as a better fighter. And so to really win over the crowd. As Milo looks onto Auryn, you just see a very furrowed brow, as he always has a very intense look, not one of hatred, but just always studying, and just very focused and trying to follow along with how fast Milo talks, and very much, and he's looking over at Milo, and Milo is very much he's a strig, he's a pygmy owl, so he's very small. He has white fur with sort of bronzish red feathers that are speckled throughout, very clean kempt, very much wide-eyed, and very cute and adorable, because pygmy owls are cute and adorable. And that's where you kind of see right there. It's just Auryn kind of getting in his groove and sitting, changing position every once in a while, maybe to a point where he's leaning back and arms folded against the wall, and just trying to pass the time he's done with Milo many moves.
So as the conversation is continuing and Milo is regaling you with some story or tale that he's heard in his little adventures within the Razor Den, communicating with other gladiators or would-be gladiators, or the sort of the handlers or the workers, there is a peal of a bell that taps 3 times, and the echo of that sort of lingers throughout all of the under of the Razor Den, the sort of the underground of the Razor Den. And Milo says, "Oh, it's dinner time. Are you hungry? Should I get the normal portion? Do you want double portions? Do you even want to eat tonight? I mean, sometimes you don't eat before a fight because I figure it's nerves, but I can't imagine that you actually have nerves. Are you hungry? I mean, do you want something?"
Just nuts and berries.
Oh, okay. That's a hearty meal for a. All right, well, I'll just go. And he kind of steps up and lets the blanket drop and kind of brushes himself off a little bit, using his feathered hands, kind of straightening his his shoddy clothes from his outfit. And he's like, "Oh, okay, all right, I won't be gone long. I know sometimes that, it can seem like it's a long time, but I won't be gone long. Everything will be okay. I promise. Nuts and fruit, berries, and all that stuff. Yeah. Okay. All right. And he steps out. An hour passes. Unusual for his normal sort of long adventures to go get dinner and bring, catching up on conversations, catching the rumors that are going along in the underside of the Razor Den. But when he comes back, he's panting as if he's been running, and he's carrying what looks to be like a bag of nuts and he's got a little cup of berries, and he comes, wow, what? Hey, here, and he kind of shoves it to you. I can go get you some. I can go get you some water in a second. But wow. I don't even know how to describe it. Did he? That Auryn, I think they're gonna kill you tomorrow.
Why do you say that?
It's hard to believe. I overheard a couple of the handlers talking. Apparently, there's a big sort of there's a big conversation that's going to happen tonight. But they think that they said something about that there is a new opponent that they've brought in for you, a gladiator from the Free Cities, who apparently is their champion, but they made a deal. I don't understand all the words, but they made a deal, and it's arrived, and it's being kept from you, and they're going to have you face this gladiator tomorrow, and they're touting it as your biggest fight because they knew that this gladiator is also undefeated. It's the test of true champions, as we were calling it. But, and this is the weird part, the handler said that usually when stuff like this happens in the lesser fights, it's usually a fixed situation, and that the fighters are told beforehand, and that's how they retire some of the older fighters that don't die. You're still young. We're still young. We should be here for a long time. What's going to happen to me if they kill you?
I can tell you it won't be good.
Obviously. Auryn, the big boss, he's apparently going to hold a meeting tonight. I think I should be there, and I'm going to be honest. I think you should hear this too. I'm not going to be able to do it justice. I mean, I can tell you, but man, they're gonna kill you.
I mean, isn't that the fate of someone in the Razor's Den? Is that one day someone will have our ticket?
Do you really want to die?
No. I have their ticket.
Then, okay.
I'm not done yet. There's just things for me to do yet.
I'm aware. I know, and I know you talk about us getting out of here someday. They sound serious. It's
well, maybe this is our sign then.
Oh, sign. Maybe it's a sign we're going out of business. Either way, I need to be there at that meeting tonight, and I really think that you should come along. But you need to be really quiet, and you need to control your rage. You can't kill anybody. I can get you out of this cage. I've always had that ability to get you out of here. I can make that happen very quick, but you'd have to be quiet. You'd have to not pick a fight. You'd have to be patient. That's the only way we're going to get out of here if this is our opportunity.
I swear an Altus.
I don't know. Maybe you should swear to me, damn it. But all right. The meeting is supposed to happen in another hour. I'm going to make the arrangements. When it's time, you just have to promise me. You just have to promise me you're not going to kill anybody.
I won't kill anyone, Milo. I promise.
Okay. All right. Here. Eat up, buddy. Also, let me see. No, they're not going to come looking for you anyways. Nobody comes down here besides us. We'll be fine. They're not going to discover that you're gone. All right. You eat up. I'm gonna go make some arrangements. And he begins to kind of step out as you are able to start digging into the berries and the nuts. But just as he's passing through the second set of doors, like barred doors, he kind of looks back and he says, "I'm afraid." And
I don't think you should be.
he kind of shakes his head, and says, "Okay, all right, I'll be back." About another 45 minutes later, although time passes and, in the darkness and the light of the stone and the torch, and you're left with your thoughts. Where are Auryn's thoughts?
The grooves in the hallway from his horns that he makes when he walks through, and he doesn't know why he's thinking about that. And it hasn't clicked with him yet why he keeps jumping to that thought. But he thinks about what they might have in store for him, what kind of opponent. And he just quietly sits there and quietly says a prayer to Altus, and I believe it's Kareth. I can verify real quick because I have the Humblewood handbook.
Humblewood handbook right in front of you.
Handy handbook. Good day, weary travelers. I am one Stormbringer. I would like to talk to you about the wonderful Humblewood. Humblewood is an exciting new campaign setting for D&D 5e that includes original playable races, new monsters, magic items, and compelling adventure for 1st to 5th level characters. Available now at thedeckamany.com/darkfortunes. It is Kareth.
And what are your prayers?
He first prays to Kareth to let Milo flourish and be his muse as he mumbles to his breath. But then as he switches to Altus, he very much gets quiet and just says, Altus, I'm not done yet. My storm's still brewing. Show me a way. And then ends it right there.
Left with your thoughts and with your prayers, you hear Milo's approach. Quiet, even for a noisy little strig.
Mm-hmm.
And you hear first the slow turning of one of the locks, ever so gently and slightly. The clicking of the mechanisms inside of the lock, giving first one and then another. As you're looking back, you realize that the torch has been taken down. You had been praying, you had been looking away, your eyes closed. The torch as a light source had gone. The stone that Milo had left you glowed dimly. And you can hear the second lock on the first door continuing to be manipulated as it pops open. And then you can hear a slight creak of metal as the hinges on the first door swing open. And Milo kind of walks up. He's like, all right, we're trying to be real quiet. I bribed this handler to help us. And when your eyes are able to adjust and sort of look around, you see that there is a hedge. Not one of the meanest of the handlers. In fact, someone who you have run into in the past and seen mercy from for other gladiators and those encaptured here. But also not the most humble or the most giving either. Holds the hand for, beating, but does not necessarily provide charity. Hedge kind of looks down at Milo looks back at you. Milo here's paid me a lot of money, but I'm not sure I trust getting any closer to you. How do I know you're not going to kill me?
Because I promised Milo.
What's the promise among trash like you? Make a promise to me.
I have no loyalty to you.
But you do to this bird.
Mm-hmm.
Promise on his life. Otherwise, they'll come looking, and if they find me dead, they'll go for him first.
I promise not to fight anyone. And he like hesitates, and looks at Milo for a second, and seeing what kind of look Milo's giving him.
Milo's just like urging you to, he's giving you hand, like his other hands motions are like,
okay,
come on, let's do this. Like in a sort of a gesture.
Yeah, and then he's just like, I promise on Milo's life. It's not very genuine, but it's what he wants to hear.
Give me a performance check.
Okay. Here we go. 15.
Very nice.
13 plus 2.
So the guard, the head handler kind of looks down at Milo, looks at you, kind of looks at Milo, and he says, man, I'm going to get drunk tonight. All right. Now you stand back in that corner over there while I open this.
I'm still sitting.
Kind of looks at you. Oh, yes, you are. Okay. All right. And you hear the clink and the creaking of the 2 locks on the second door pop open as you hear the slight sort of grind. Now, Milo, he's got to be back here in an hour. They'll do a bag check. It's on you. Yeah. Okay. All right. We'll be back. I promise. I'll make sure to put everything back in place, and then I'll come get you to secure the locks. Okay. Yeah, you do that. It's on your life. As the hedge kind of looks down, backing away, hand on his blade, looking at you as he steps back as far into the darkness and then disappears down the tunnel. All right, you did it. Look, that guy is, he's all talk. You've seen him. He's not any good in a fight. Yet he picks on the little ones if he has to. But all right, come on, we gotta go.
All right, let's go.
And so Milo leads you out of the 2 cages and down the darkened hall, taking you back to more sort of the proper area of the underground of the Razor Den. Coming out of sort of a dark tunnel, you see that there are more torches that are lit. Give me a perception check.
All right, here we go. 14 plus 3, 17.
You hear voices coming from the area with which they have the other cells of the gladiators and the new trainees that they've brought in. And that, as you get to like sort of like a crossroads or a junction, there, the 4 directions, that's off to your left, and you're coming from basically where you were, moving forward. Off to your right, to be where that leads to the actual arena, the arena floor itself. You've never been down the hall in front of you, but that's where Milo is talking about. You hear voices coming from the left and from the right. But you don't hear anything coming from the direction moving forward.
I just let Milo keep guiding me and just eyes forward.
As you're crossing sort of the intersection, moving forward as Milo says, come on, gotta go, come on, shh, don't shh. You get another sort of quick whiff of that smell that you had when you were walking from the arena floor. to your cell, and it's coming from the direction of where the gladiators, or the barracks essentially of the gladiators are.
I would just walk up quietly and just try to get an earshot of they're meeting right
so
now.
the meeting is the meeting is going to be happening very soon. Milo is trying to rush to get you into a place of position where you're going to be able to hear what's going on.
Yeah, I would get to a position where it's like in the shadows and just listening and watching.
Okay. So as you continue to move forward, that smell sort of lingers in your nostrils for another second or two before you kind of get past it, and you get another sense of like an air kind of like coming in. And as you get sort of to the end of this particular area of the hall, you realize that there's actually a stairway that takes you up to another level that you've never been to before. And so this is a situation where you are having to go into even more of a confined space because of your antlers and everything else. And Milo's like running up the stairs, and he's like, come on, just lean down and just kind of, navigate your way through. I'm going to need a dexterity roll of some kind.
I believe this is +2. Let me see. All right. Rolled a 5 + 2 is a 7.
All right. Try as you might, it's not easy. You make your way through the doorway without getting caught, but your antlers are so wide and they're so tall that you're angling your head in a way that so you can actually crawl, because you have to get onto the ground a little bit, and you crawl on your hands and knees walking up the stairs and around a turn to another sort of stairway leading up. Yes.
Question. What my horns when they're against a wall? Because I imagine there's some scraping. What's the wall doing?
That's what I was about to describe. Every time you keep you keep a step, you're trying really hard to stay in control, but occasionally you slip up and you create a slight sort of blemish or groove along the stone wall as you're kind of making your way up. And Milo's just like, okay, hold on. All right, I'll see what I can do about fixing that. But no, you're good. Keep coming. No. Other way. He just keeps giving you, and he's getting a little bit louder than he anticipated. But you are able to finally navigate your way up to this next level, and you find that it opens up into a doorway and then to another hallway with a series of rooms with doors in various spaces, so sort of along the left and right side of this. There's looks to be like 3 doors to the left and 2 doors to the right. And there is a smell of cooked meat and baked bread coming from the second door to the left. Milo's like, Dad, I think it's that one there, and I know that the walls are thin enough because we can actually. I used to come up here. This used to be a huge storage area until the boss sort of converted it. We can walk into here, and we should be able to hear. It's the walls are wood between the doorways here. I mean between the rooms here. We should be able to hear. So let's go this way.
Okay, and then Auryn would go wherever he's pointing and like open that door.
All right. As you step inside, you realize that it is a small office. Papers sort of scattered everywhere. There's a desk, and it's sort of a table in the center with more papers sort of scattered, but nobody is actually in there at this particular time, luckily for you. So both of you sort of step inside, and immediately Milo just jumps up on the desk. He's like, okay, shh. Now let's listen here. See if you can angle your head and twist it to the side and just see if you can angle it so that you can lean up against the wall. I think that's the best way for you to be able to hear.
Like that.
Yeah, that yeah, best you can get, I guess. And all right.
Basically, like Auryn's like tilting his head, and like he goes to lean in, and his horns are preventing him from like putting his ear against the wall. So he's like, he thinks he's doing a good job, but he's just like,
And as you are beginning to kind of lean your head up against the wall, a door opens and closes in the next room. No voices at first, and there's shuffling of paperwork, and you can hear footsteps, and you hear a couple of words like trouble, and it's in whispered tones. And based on what you're hearing, you seem to recognize the one voice that's talking as the Mawpock that was serving the boss Corvum. And you hear a couple of different things, kind of being exchanged and said. You hear trouble, you hear the word can't guarantee, you hear the word vicious, and then you hear the word bloody end, or hear the phrase bloody end. And with each word that sort of just kind of comes through for both you and Milo's eyes, being a Strig, his are already pretty, open and wide. They get even wider, and you can see that there's surprise. He says, "This, I don't think the person that they're going to be talking to is here yet. It's really strange, but it's definitely happening. I know that for a fact." And so as Auryn, as Milo is, just sort of kind of continuing to strain, there's a slam that causes the both of you to kind of just, pull your head back for just a second because it's so loud. And you hear the voices coming from the other side, and this is what you hear. "Well, I see that my package has arrived. Are you going to pay me my fee now, my lord?" "What? Nothing to say, my lord? Are you sure? That package is going to save you a pretty penny, as I understand. In fact, it's going to make you a lot of money. I mean, your boy Auryn, he's quite good. So good, in fact, that nobody will bet against him now, which has changed the market. It's changed the way that you play the game, the way that people gamble. He's no longer any good to you, is he? That's why my package is here." Isn't that interesting? You have nothing to say. And as you hear that, you hear a different sound. What sounds like a heavy bag of coin being thrown across a room and landing hard on a table. And you hear a couple of tinkling noises as one sort of pitter-patters for just a second until it settles. "Well, my lord, I see that you have made sure to pay well, but you don't say much. I got to admit, setting up your best fighter, worthless as he is to make you any real money, but setting up your best fighter to die, well, that's a nasty business. I can't imagine you don't have any affection. I understand the boy doesn't have any affection for anybody, except possibly that little bird, that little companion of his, that little Strig. We're going to have to do something about that if you expect him to fall in line tomorrow." And another sort of thump sounds in the room, coming from what you think is the sort of the back of the room. Still no response, huh? All right. Well, the beast is yours. We got him up from the Humblewood some time ago, and he's vicious and he's mean, and he's definitely seen better days, but he is a skilled fighter. And the one thing I can't say I'm going to miss is his smell. It's absolutely disgusting. Some meat eaters just don't know how to stay clean. No? Still nothing? All right. Well, I've got my payment. It's been a pleasure, my lord. You do you, and have a good day. And you hear the door slam. And I was like, What was that? What? Who? They're not winning on you anymore? I mean, that kind of makes sense, but you don't kill your best fighter. You retire them. You give them freedom. The people love you. They keep them coming. I don't understand. I don't.
I refuse to yield in a fight. That's why they're going to kill me.
Well, why don't you yield? This means our survival. I know that you think that you're going to escape and you're going to take me with you, but geez, we shouldn't talk here. I'm going to get us in trouble. Let's go, Auryn.
And he just turns around and starts making his way back to his cell.
Roll me a stealth check.
Oh, good. Oh, good. Oh, okay. 13 plus 2, 15.
All right. So you make your way towards the door as you hear it open again on the other wall. And, Miles like, oh, and he kind of opens the door very quietly and peers out. He's like, just a second. And he steps out and just kind of closes the door behind him. And the door opens again. And you're left waiting, trying to figure out what it is that Milo's doing. And he opens the door quickly and comes back in. Okay. All right. The coast is clear now. Coast is clear. Let's make this move. And he escorts you back towards the stairway leading down. And you have the same problems, sort of, kind of making your way down to the lower level, scraping your antlers, your horns, you're all over the place. It's harder to descend in the way that you were trying to ascend. And the scraping just kind of is just becoming a real problem. There are marks everywhere. He's like, I'll see what I can do. I'll see about fixing that. Even if I have to stay up all night, just don't worry about it. So let's keep going.
No, don't worry about it. It'll be fine.
They're going to know. They're going to find out that, all right. I don't understand. You're not making any sense. Usually you make sense. You don't always sound this.
We'll talk more about it. Back.
And so as you're sort of stepping down into the sort of the proper area, heading back in the direction towards the junction, the smell from earlier today continues to sort of waft into your nose as you're stepping back up towards the junction. And it is now on your right hand side as you come to the junction, and it is overwhelmingly strong. It seems at this point, given the fact that it's so strong, also a little familiar.
What does it remind me of, Johnny?
You can't quite place it. It's something that seems, it gives you a feeling of home.
And I just kind of stop and stare, hesitate for a second as I kind of trace that smell with or Auryn does with his nose. His nostrils are flaring a little bit on the end of his snout. And he looks very lost in thought, but he can't. It's like lost in thought, but he can't grab the memory. And he looks into the darkness and then changes what he's focused on and turns and goes down the hall.
God, what are you doing? Come on, we gotta get back to your cell. Come on, we gotta go. Come on.
And he hears Milo, and he's like, and then starts making his way towards
just
Milo.
As you're leaving the junction, the smell is continuing to sort of wave, in your sort of general direction. You hear a low guttural growling sound coming down from that direction. And it stops just after a couple of seconds. But it was just enough, based on your experience, for something is letting you know that it's there, that it senses you too. And you make your way back to the cell.
Mm-hmm. And as soon as we get in and everything's locked up and we're back into the positions that we were in before, and it's just Milo and Auryn once again sitting in the darkness. Milo always knows when to use his light cantrip and turns on the light. As like Milo's probably going off like what blah, 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 like probably just 1,000 miles a minute, and Auryn would just go shh, and then he for some odd reason he just keeps thinking about the stone, and he keeps scraping the stone and making grooves in it, and he looks at Milo and he's like, I keep thinking about that thought.
What thought is that? What are you talking about?
And then he goes and starts scraping his antlers against a wall and making a bigger groove.
What do you do? You're gonna attract attention. That's gonna get noisy. The more you scrape that, that's definitely gonna draw attention. And that handler's coming back anytime soon to check. He's I've only paid him for that small window of time. This isn't gonna. He's gonna bring back trouble.
He won't notice. But I keep having that thought. Something about it just keeps coming back, and that thought just keeps repeating in my head.
For the first time, Milo changes his tone and his energy, and he kind of looks up at you. And he walks over and he places his feathered hand on your leg. He's looking up at you and he says, what thought is that, Auryn? What's got you spooked? You never get spooked.
I don't think spooked is how I feel. It is more, I don't know how to put it. It's very, I never noticed how easy things break away.
Break away? What are you talking about?
The walls. The walls and everything in the Razor's Den is the same rock.
Yeah, it's carved out of the ground, buddy. You sure you don't want to leave the...
It's soft.
No, it's not. And Milo steps over to a wall, and with his feathered hand, he kind of like hits it. He's like, ow, what? Man, you tricked me to do that. Here, I'm going to show you. And he reaches over and grabs for a piece of stone with a relatively sort of sharp end to it. And he tries to carve into the wall itself in a way that your antler would. He's like, see, look, here, you take this and you try it. I can't carve into that. See, your antlers are strong, but... and you make a groove very similar to the ones that your antlers make, and as deep as they scrape the walls. And he kind of looks at you and he says, no, you're not thinking we can carve a way out of here, are you?
No. There's too much here. But I think I have an idea. I think, like your dagger, my axe, during the fight tomorrow, I think I don't know. How tall are the walls?
The walls to what? Are you? What do you mean? What are you trying to? What walls? Are you talking the walls of the arena? You mean the thing that like the stadium itself, the Coliseum, where the benches are? Are you talking about that?
Yes.
I never quite thought about it, but I think they're a good 20 feet up.
Hmm.
What are you thinking? I mean, I'm a little nervous because you don't use that word all that often. So um, I feel like it's gonna be dangerous, whatever it is.
Well, it's either die or find a way out.
What happened to your confidence? You said that you weren't done. You're not going to die.
I won't die in the fight, but by the sounds of it, they may just end me, no matter how it goes.
Okay. Um,
I'm not smart, and I know that, but I know when someone has less than good intentions for what they want.
hmm.
And listening to them argue, especially if the house is losing money, then
Well, I agree with you with that. We're gonna have to figure it out anyways. But yeah, they're out to kill you because of that. I can understand. I mean, I'm a little afraid of what that means. But um, do you want to tell me what you're thinking, or do you need me to prepare for something? Do I need to go rattle some cages, proverbially speaking?
I think I can possibly get up the walls with my great axe embedded into it.
Oh,
I would just need you to, when the time comes, to get on my antlers like you do and hang on tightly. Uh, just because it could be a very uh, tender moment.
um, okay. You need anything else, buddy?
Hmm, no.
Um, all right, all right, okay. All right. Well, if we're gonna make this happen, we best get some sleep then. All right, because they're gonna come calling early to get you all geared up and you know get you all get worked up. You know, high sun high in the sky is when they're saying that they'll do it, which I assume they're meaning by to be high noon. But um, you know, you should probably get some rest. It's going to be a long day tomorrow. Then I think.
Yes, I think so.
And with that, Milo kind of looks over you, kind of hesitantly pulls up the blanket and keeps sort of checking in with you as he lays his head down and finally finds sleep.
And Auryn doesn't fall asleep right away. He's thinking. And he's thinking about the axe in the wall, and how that could be an escape. But he's really kind of thinking in his head, like very much like Altus, show me a way. Just give me the opportunity to get out of here. Remind me why I have a storm brewing. It's been a long time, and sometimes it fades.
For a moment, you flash. It's in a forest that seems familiar. Trees around you, faces that you recognize but can't quite name. The smells of home, the sounds of home, the light pitter patter of children playing with you, looking up at you as you were tall even then. And then that fades. And standing in front of you, inside of your head, you see a vision of something dark and menacing, silhouetted by a fire burning bright in the background. Teeth growling at you, catching the firelight. Jaw opening up. Slobber drooling. Growling. Intensely growling. As the maw finally opens up of the mouth, just wide, and reaches out for you as you snap awake with the lingering sound of the growl in your ears. And you can see that torches are lit and that daylight is vaguely, making its way down your dark tunnel. Oh, are you awake? Are you awake?
Yes, I'm awake.
Right. I'm gonna go get you some breakfast. Don't eat too much though, because you don't want to eat too much before a battle.
No, I'm not hungry. I ate last night. Just give me a little bit of water.
And Milo kind of runs off and looks back at you. You stay safe. And he runs off into.
And before he runs off, I go, Milo.
Yeah, what's up, buddy?
Keep your eyes open.
Yeah. All right. Okay. All right. That's all right. I'll be back. And he takes off. And after he takes off, two handlers that you recognize that always attend to you. These are older handlers. Kindly handlers. Ones that you have in the past seen treat everyone in the underground kindly, with respect, as much as a gladiator or a slave would receive respect. And these two come in, one a Mawpok, one a Servan, and they start to lay things on the ground in the cage between sort of your holding cell and the tunnel beyond. And as they lock back up that second door into the tunnel beyond, they step all the way back to the far wall. Your first door, they've unlocked, allowing you to step inside and to prepare for your day in the arena. What does that preparation look like?
So very much it's gladiator armor that's like sitting down there. So it's very much just decoration. It just looks fancy. So it's very much on one arm. He has like plates that like segment all the way down into like a gauntlet. And then like a fancy like strap that goes across. He still wears the brown shorts and suspenders, but it's not really good combat armor. It does like nothing for actual combat. It's just fancy pants, part of the show. And so much he probably has like a red cape that's on the well, maybe not red. Let's say it is more of a blue, sort of a dark like navy blue that he has on his back. I like the blue a little bit better. And very much, the armor has like a signet in it of the Razor's Den. And do they give him his great axe at this point? Or is that
will be at the door? They do not give you weapons until you are close to the arena and until they feel like they can control you.
Okay. So he would wait, and that's the point where he waits for Milo to show up as he's like his announcer.
And as you're settling back into your cell, as they're cleaning up the rest of it, and they've locked you back in, Milo comes running back. He's like, here, and he drops a skin at your feet. Sorry, it's a little chaotic down here. There's everybody's really sort of up in arms. The fights haven't been going well this morning. Apparently, the those they expected to lose have been winning, and so the money has been a little uncertain for exchanging hands. The bets haven't been going well, and the boss apparently is really unhappy. But he seems to be very happy to hear that your fight is coming. So everybody's starting to relax a little bit, apparently. So here's the water.
And I take the water and I drink a little bit and I just put it on my side, and then put out my hand to have Milo jump into it, and I put him up in my antlers.
As you put him up, you can see that the two servant, quite muscular, with their spears, are pointing through the gates. All right, step back. It's showtime. It's time to step back.
Yeah, and I step back and I'm just like, my arms are crossed, like looking at them.
They unlock the first sort of set of doors again, move into the second. One of them unlocks the second set of doors while the other one has the spear sort of pointed in your direction, ready, posed for the attack. As the first one is able to kind of move back and get into a better position, of course, they flank themselves and walk back, giving you space to open up. They then move into a position down one side of the tunnel, giving you a clear sort of path towards the arena. How do we find Auryn walking to the arena?
Very much a menacing. His head is like lowered down and he's got sort of a stride. And it's different how he walked going back to his cell. It's from training. It's very much like a focus and aware of what's going on around him, but psyching himself up quietly. And he feels a storm in his chest as it like swirls slowly and billows, and he feels it slightly stirring but keeps it calm, and he walks up and takes the axe in his hand and kind of throws it up in the air a little bit and grabs the top part in his hand on the other, and goes and puts one-handedly puts it around his back, like the axe across his back, and waits for the doors to open to the arena.
Milo's still in your antlers, correct?
Yeah.
You hear the crowd getting sort of revved up. There's a barker in the middle of the place, just starting to yell, talking about the challenger and talking about where the challenger comes from. The challenger comes from the city, the free cities of the Paw. The gladiators of the arena there choose to be champions. They choose to fight in the ring. And now this champion has chosen to come to the city of the brother, to the Razor's Den, to fight the people's champion, to fight Auryn. And his name is Gnarl. And the crowd just goes, boo! And there's just this sort of like, sort of backlash of screaming and just booing. And you can hear, the wet sounds of rotten, fruits and vegetables being thrown into the arena. And now, the people's champion, as the doors slowly swing open.
And I kind of want to roll a performance, and it's to look menacing, and kind of put on that show of like being the strong monster type. Pro wrestling reference. There we go. Here we go. I got a 19. 17 plus 2.
Okay. That's great. Doors slowly begin to open. light is starting to stream in. You are blinded because the compartment, the entryway is kept really dark as you are preparing to go into the ring. Only slight, the slight cracks of light are coming through in the door. So talk about, narrate us into the arena as you are sort of blinded a little bit and just kind of walking in menacingly.
So it's very much like as soon as his antlers are out the door, it's very much a mad stare down to the opposite side of the arena. He is giving that look of like just no shit's given, sort of no fear, and is looks like he's like ready to fight as he like brings the thing down, his great axe down and like up into his other hand as his like eyes adjust, and he kind of peers around the crowd and like blinks a little bit, and giving that menacing, intimidating look. And I imagine Milo at this point is riling up the crowd with his antlers, or in my antlers, in Auryn's antlers, and is hyping him up as he begins to focus down the way.
As you step in the ring, menacing your performance, the crowd goes wild. Everyone in the arena is cheering. Everyone is chanting and calling your name. Auryn tries to, Milo tries to get started with your, your sort of, your call, your entry into the arena. He tries to carry his voice louder, even using, prestidigitation. He can't seem to break over the crowd's sort of like uproar of just excitement and just this cacophony of like loud. And he kind of like, you feel him sort of, sit back onto your one of your antlers for just a second. And he just waits for the crowd to sort of die down a little bit. And as you're kind of looking around, you're taking in the setting, seeing all the faces, all the crowds, seeing the Corvum, who is the boss, in the boxes, kind of looking down, glaring at you, smiling, kind of like looking around and enjoying what the crowd is doing. And then you see him sort of look off to the side, looking at someone in the crowd next to him. This breaks your concentration for a little second as you're able to bring your gaze back down to look at your opponent. And standing in front of you is a creature covered in fur, eyes glistening, little droopy, ears sort of moving with the sound of the crowd, jaw open, teeth bare, growling, drooling. It holds a spear 3 feet taller than it in its bright paw, tight and ready for the grip as it growls. And that's when the smell hits you. It wafts all over you. And it just settles on you for just a second, giving you a moment of pause as you realize standing in front of you is a gnoll. And you recognize some of the markings on its fur.
Mm-hmm. At this point, Auryn recalls briefly in his head what he asked was, he asked Altus the night before. Basically, what was it? He asked what was, remind him of why he has the storm, or something similar along those lines. I can't remember the exact verbiage. That's me not remembering words. But it was just basically what was his purpose, kind of thing. And in like kind of cinematic sense, what we see is Auryn's eyes just get huge, but not scared, just instantly, in an instant, at the same time, a voice in his head, and he sounds out loud. The voice, not his, the voice, very booming, like thunder, and channeling through him as he remembers why he has a storm brewing in him. And as these words come out, this storm in his chest, and if it's not a literal storm, if anyone's listening, it's a in his head, that's how he pictures it, like a squall or a hurricane, or just kind of that aerial view of a storm. The storm turns black, and lightning starts crackling all through how he feels. And it feels like it's crackling through his body. And at that time, as he falls into a rage uncontrollably, the words that echo in his head and throughout his mouth is just vengeance.
Laughing, the gnoll says menacingly, "Not one for ceremony, are you? Let's do this." And just leans down, spear in front of him.
Auryn's already running.
Like leaning down, doing this. Where is Milo?
Milo probably was like trying to do it and then like waiting for like the count to go, and he just hears Auryn go say like vengeance, like he hasn't heard before, like he's seen him rage, but this is something else. This is something that he had not seen before, and is coming out, and as he like runs forward, let's do a dexterity check for Milo real quick. I want to see if he hangs on. 8. So no, he doesn't hang on. He like kind of like flips through the air and glides to the ground. The feet that about 6-7 feet to the ground, like kind of perplexed. He has that look of like perplexion on his face, as Auryn has just forgotten anything that was going around. And like Auryn's vision, it is tunnel vision right now. It's there. All his focus, he does not hear the crowd anymore. It's silent. All he can hear is a storm in his head, with his axe, like ready to strike against this creature. His hatred is just manifesting in so many ways that he had forgotten, as this rage comes pouring out, looking this thing dead in the eye.
The distance between the two of you is probably 80 feet. The arena is large. Both of you begin to charge and close the distance. Just as you're about halfway to meeting it there, all blind with rage, you hear a squawk from the back, from behind you. Hey, what are you doing? No, nobody's supposed to mess with me. I'm here with, no. And that's where we're going to end it.
Son of a bitch.
Dark Fortunes is an unMadeGaming production and a proud member of the Don't Split the Podcast Network. If you'd like to learn more about the world of Dark Fortunes and get some behind-the-scenes looks, please go join us at Patreon at patreon.com/unMadeGaming. Thank you for joining us on this high seas adventure, and we'll see you next time on Dark Fortunes.